YouTube, I couldn't create a BPro video until I gave my patrons a heads up that could be a good time to sell if you bought under a penny. So now I can make a BPro video now that I've given everybody in the community ample time. We did a lot of that through VIP voice chats and other posts to the other tiers. But yeah, we sometimes hang out in these voice chats over here and talk about it. Have 20, 25 people at a time, all sharing screens, this kind of stuff. So I can now make a BPro video since we've already been talking about it long enough. So here we go. BPro in the house. This is essentially the BPro YouTube channel of, this is the BPro YouTube channel. So welcome if you haven't been here before. And if you are new and you end up liking what you see here. So if you're new, I promise you, I don't suck that bad. So just turn it up to ×2 speed and see if I suck or not. But if you like what you see here at the end, then go ahead and hit like, subscribe. But if you do subscribe, let me know whether you want to be a cryptillion or a crypto crackhead. And if you're new and you think I suck, just say you suck in the comments, but still give me a thumbs up to help the algo. And just let me know I suck and don't watch me again. Unless you want to watch me to see how bad I suck. All right, so here we go. BPro. Within my Patreon community, I've put out posts saying things like, man, you know what? I think I'm going to accumulate BPro because I think that BPro is going to be among the first movers. Okay? So first strong movers outside of freaking meme coins or whatever's YouTube is pumping right now. But because BPro started its correction in the middle of March, right? A couple months before Bitcoin's correction down. So BPro is already having a 75% correction. You know, before this, and this candle here marked Bitcoin's crash down from, I think, 58K when it made a lower high, as Ethereum was screaming up and Cardano was screaming up, which is all a trap. As we know now, Ethereum and Cardano's move up as Bitcoin was making that lower high. It was all trap. It was fabricated. But anyway, and it worked. It got me. I was definitely fooled personally. Yeah, that was one of my bigger mistakes. Really within 4.5 years trading. I missed that. And anyway, so in that moment, I did suck. Anyway, BPro most recently did actually end up being, what you might consider a first mover because it just went on a 3.3x run. So if you go on a 100% run, that is double. If you go to 200% run, that's triple, right? So 3.3x your money. BPro's price got above the daily 200 EMA, which is a big deal, which is what both Ethereum and Bitcoin have recently done. Ethereum never went too far under its daily 200 EMA. See, it kind of bounced just below. So its bottom of its triangle was just under it. And Bitcoin recently, Bitcoin did go way below it, and it's recently gotten above it, and it's flirting with the line right now if you want to go see that. So just so you know that this line's a big deal, okay? This line's a really big deal. And so you can see this line on Bitcoin here. It marks a lot of moves that lead to, a huge amount of continuation, but it also marks when you're getting bull traps before it actually crashes back down. So it does have a mixed bag of both. When price finally gets above, it typically leads to a bull trap with a large move down or continuation and slowly crawl its way out. Which, when it does crawl its way out, it's not necessarily as immediate as the crawling out of the bear market of 2018, 2019. This was a pretty immediate reaction, and this could be exactly what happens in Bitcoin. And so, and if this were to happen, something to this effect, that would really look a lot like 2013, where 2013 had a massive dive down. Just 2013 here. This is the top of late 2013. This is the bear market of 2014. Circling on my screen here. Hopefully you can see it and you're not driving, but I'm looking at that move up, and you can see here, if you could draw out where the daily 200 was, it did go below it, and if it had more price action on this chart, it was below it, and when it screamed above, it really started screaming, which would be kind of similar to the move up to 14K, but this was much more monumental. So if so it's unknown right now whether this move on Bitcoin and BPRO are going to be a bull trap or not. Bull trap means it's bad for bulls. Bulls bought into it, they got trapped, or they're in a bull trap, right? Caught by the bull balls or wherever you catch bulls. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe by the bulls. I don't know. I don't know how to catch a bull, but if I tried, I would probably wear my Iron Man suit and turn off all of the special guns on it, and then grab them somewhere. We'll grab by the horns. Anyway, so it's unknown. So the reason I'm showing you this on Bitcoin, it's because if Bitcoin ends up being a bull trap, even if it moves up to 46K first and then really dives down, that's what's going to happen to BPRO too. So if you're looking at BPRO price and perhaps its relationship to the daily 200, because the daily 200, really, I mean, if you see it coming back down and slamming past, I mean, Bitcoin's at least going to come down to 32K. That's kind of my guess. Well, I wouldn't say 32K. I would say the mid 30s. And that would bring BPRO down significantly as well. So if Bitcoin, let's say, comes up to, let's say 42K, comes down to just under 35K, that's a 17% move. So altcoins move a little faster than Bitcoin. That would put it like a 30% down move for BPRO. So let's go back to BPRO here. And let's measure it maybe from here, 30% move. That would put it back in this blue box that I have right now, which is a horizontal from here. And that's kind of where I'm targeting, a retracement at minimum. I think a retracement might be significantly deeper. It's probably going to retrace to one of these horizontals would be my guess. Or it might just come, hang out one. Yeah, I guess this blue box is where it was hanging out here again. It could just test this hangout spot. Or it could retrace all the way back down here and hit this origin line, which if I zoom out, you can see what my origin lines look like. I think it's very possible, just like the last time BPRO went above its daily 200 EMA, it went back down to the origin line from whence it came. And it already had one. So that, one. It had two failed rallies before the final rally above. So the likelihood of this being a good time to, if you have been accumulating Bitcoin well below it, or BPRO well above the penny, take this information for what you will. I am fully expecting a retracement down. Even if Bitcoin went to 43K before it retraced, and BPRO went to 1.2, I would expect a bigger retrace, but back down to close to the same levels of a retracement that I would expect from the current pump. So either way, I think the retracement is going to be about the same. So, since this is not financial advice, I'm not telling anybody to sell. I'm not doing any of that because it could easily go to 1.5 cents. All I'm saying right here is that look at price history in the past. It went massively above, went back down, went above after having bounced off an origin line, came back down, hit that origin line again, then blasted up, which is why I think that what is in play could be a lower horizontal that so if you try to draw a reasonable path down that's just not straight down, right? So let's say something like that here. That should align roughly with a horizontal, and check that out. Bam. Two important lines crossing sometimes has the effect of sucking price into it, but being a strong support and or resistance. So my three targets for a BPRO retracement are here. I personally don't know which one because it just depends to which level Bitcoin retraces, and if Bitcoin wants to pop up to 42,000 to even 48,000 before a retracement, that would affect to where this BPRO would retrace as well. However, you might want to draw horizontals, just draw a friggin' line on your chart from the last three little mountains here and know that those are areas of interest, at least for me, and all of the patrons in my community who are BPro fanatics, which is probably more than half of them. Sometimes we just go on, during these live calls, we just talk about BPro the whole freaking time and ignore Bitcoin, especially if Bitcoin's being boring. We'll just, and BPro's being boring, let's say, during these times, but the project itself and, its efforts with, I guess, Polkadot, Binance Smart Chain, and is it Ethereum? I can't remember. It's going to have cross-chain abilities across 3 smart platforms, and then something to do with Polka markets, which you can look into. But anyway, sometimes we just talk about BPro. So if you're a BPro fanatic, you're not in the community. My lowest tier is not very expensive. So you can come hang out with a bunch of other BPro freaks if you want to. But if you want to have frequent conversations about BPro with other BPro folks, that would be VIPs. I think Crackhead tier, you get one a week where we can all get together and have video chats and share screens. So I'll stop sharing mine, they share theirs. We talk about BPro, whether it's fundamentals or so I would say about 20% of the time we just talk about BPro instead during the session. But and almost 100% of the time we've been mentioning it at least. So, BPro fans, there is a community out there for you, and I wasn't kidding when I said this is the BPro channel. That's literally how I got going on YouTube by accident. So, anyway, long-term targets, though, I mean, you're going to have these horizontals that I had up here, and again, it depends on when Bitcoin is breaking all-time highs. So, I would fully suspect that BPro will not be to 1.7 cents until Bitcoin closes a weekly candle. Okay, so out of these 2 events, I think the Bitcoin event will happen first. That's specifically what I'm saying. I'm getting ready to show you 2 events, one on BPro, one on Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's will happen first, perhaps immediately followed by BPro's event, but I think Bitcoin's will happen first. So here's the Bitcoin event. Is closing a weekly candle above I would say roughly above where this wick here, this candle body here, this wick here, this would be the moment where I think if a weekly candle can close above this horizontal, which is coming in right at 50K, just under 50K. So if Bitcoin closes a weekly candle above 49.6, I think that would give Bitcoin enough momentum to stay above 50K, perhaps fail this first, but come up to, all-time highs, get rejected, maybe you can come all the way back down, try it again, and then break out. But a weekly closure above this point, I think will happen first in Bitcoin before BPro, so that's event 1, closes. I'm not saying a week sneaks its freaking head above. That doesn't count. I'm saying closes. Just how this candle here closed above this horizontal, and that helped allow for this large green candle move up this week. On BPro, I think that will coincide very closely, but Bitcoin's happened first, with BPro's level of 1.75 cents. So around 1.7. I would expect some type of rejection there, or a wick past even, and then landing on it as support. So I'm not for sure when BPro does get up here, if it'll fly past and use it as support, or, so like, let's say, comes up, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know if it's going to fly past it, use it as support, then work its way past these horizontals, or path 2, something like this. It'll get rejected from it, hit the origin line, ride the origin line, and then as this line gets extended, just extend the line, I'm almost anticipating a squeeze play with the origin line and in this horizontal for a big move up. And then I think BPRO could get all the way to 3 cents if it does the squeeze play, it puts in its time, and then come settle back on one of these two. So there are a few midterm avenues that I see for BPRO, but I do believe it's all based on Bitcoin closing a weekly candle above 49,600, close to 50K, but that horizontal that I showed you. And so just know that if you're a fan, right? And so in some of my VIP chats, I became very, very glad to hear that, you know, the most chest pounding from my old videos, and, you know, old videos March and April this year. I'm a new YouTuber. What are you gonna say? Anyway, you know, even the strongest BPRO chest pounders who are blindly like all about BPRO, it's by far their favorite coin, which is a lot of my VIPs. Even they know that in one will kind of butt in the conversation of another one who's clearly a big chest pounder and say, but you know that this all depends on Bitcoin's price move. If Bitcoin goes down, BPRO will too, as we're talking price action to BPRO, and they all end up, they just with no hesitation, oh, I already know this. But I don't know if you all YouTube viewers outside of my community know that. So if you are a chest pounder about a coin, right, you can't just do TA on that coin. It depends on Bitcoin to a certain degree. Now, sometimes these freaking meme coins can do 30K, like 30,000%, which honestly makes me feel that I should buy a couple meme coins, or maybe even like buy a little bit of 10 of them just to see, and if just one pops, it made it worth it. But anyway, so if you want to leave me a comment in the comment section here, let me know which meme coins that you are interested in or are holding, or you have high hopes for, that are not a huge cap. So, you know, not a billion cap meme coin or 500 million cap meme coin. I would be more interested in something like 20 million or something like that, or less. 20 million or less. So if you want to leave me a comment, maybe even 100 million, let's go 100 million or less, that you think could have strong upside potential, then I would be willing to take a look at that. Maybe not make a video about it or anything, but personally look at it. I would appreciate that. So back to BPRO. Sorry for that. Sorry for that quick, a quick interruption to make an announcement. All right. So anyway, so make sure that, you know, if you're a fan of BPRO and you want to understand the price action, that you're strongly following price action of Bitcoin and or Ethereum too. You have to tie at least Bitcoin into your altcoin stuff. And again, there have been a few exceptions. For example, Quant, right, is an altcoin that doesn't move with Bitcoin at all. Oh, it did break out. I missed it. Crap. Anyway, throughout all this time here, though, April 2021, February, this is when altcoins were flying. Even Bitcoin was still flying March, right? And March, about here, this candle, that was the height of BPRO at 4.3 cents or whatever it hit, right? So things were screaming, but Quant didn't. It just put in its time. And then as Bitcoin was falling, it went up. I can't believe it. I'm mad at myself. I told myself I was going to get a trade because I was very interested in seeing a coin that ignores Bitcoin's price movement. Wonder how I missed. Oh, did it just happen? Yeah, it just happened starting yesterday. Darn it. Yep, it was yesterday's close above that line. Gosh darn it, it did close above that line. Thanks, community members and Patreon, for not letting me know, hey, Quant finally closed above that line. So in the community, I let people know, hey, I think Quant will have a strong breakout. I don't know if I want to try it quite here or even quite here, because the chance of it getting rejected coming back down with the Bitcoin retracement. But I said, if Quant can close a daily candle above this wick, I want to buy it because it's going to be a big candle. And that candle was today. And the closing candle was yesterday, and I didn't see it. But anyway, so there are some exceptions like Quant. Sorry to get off on a tangent. This is a BPRO video. But the point is, there are very few exceptions. And BPRO, I don't think will be an exception. It has a very low chance of being an exception. It could be. But still, if you like, I can't stress this enough. You need to know Bitcoin or Bitcoin TA as well if you're a BPRO fan. And I wanted to end with that thought. And listen, if I say something that you say, okay, that kind of makes sense, but you're not really taking action on it, okay, just I will let you know this, and it's completely normal. Almost no good advice in the world is ever taken, right? We humans are just a bunch of people who hear great advice, ignore it, learn the hard lesson yourself, feel the pain from not following that advice, and then you tell other people about it later, perhaps younger generations, and they do the same thing. They don't freaking listen to you. They go, they hear it, say, yeah, that makes sense. They do freaking do it anyway, right? And then later on, they tell people the same advice. But so in line of that, I understand that, but I can't stress enough. If you're a BPro or an altcoin fan, follow Bitcoin TA, whether it's my channel or not. It doesn't matter, because you're going to get burned. You're going to get burned if you're only looking at an altcoin for TA. I'm telling you, you're going to get burned. And now that you've heard this and you're going to ignore it, if you're somebody who doesn't do that already, you're probably going to ignore it, and that's fine. But just know that once you do get burned for not following TA, if you're one of those people, you will remember me saying this, and then you'll probably watch more of my videos and stay tuned, or maybe, join one of the tiers on Patreon. But that's just how it works. You have to feel the pain from not following good advice before you realize, crap, I know he said it, I just didn't do it. And so most of the people within my community, what attracted them was my ranting and raving this day. I literally made a video this day. And if you want to find it, it's the thumbnail. It's totally different. It's me holding a fireball on a black screen, essentially, right? It looks a lot different. That was the day that BPro came here, and I said, nope, it's not going to go above this for quite a while. It's going to go down and sideways a month or two, bare minimum, right? And then all the YouTube comments, it's going to go higher. What if it goes higher? What if it goes higher? It's not. It can't. It's too aggressive. It can't. And I had a different trend line there that it worked out perfectly. It wicked past it barely, but anyway. So most of the folks who didn't sell after on my channel throughout all of March and April and some of May, I was talking take profits, be a profit pimp. Don't worry about if price goes higher. Just take profits. There's bearish divergence on Bitcoin. Take profits. I was ranting and raving, saying, hold tether. Holding tether right now is a great idea. Said it multiple times. And before that big drop. And a lot of those folks who didn't do that, they're coming on my, when we have these conversations, they said, yeah, I know, but I just thought it would go higher, so I never sold. And I'm still stuck with it down here, and I'm at a big loss because I bought it 2 cents. Like on a retracement down like this, or maybe actually I was buying it 1.7 cents. I thought it was going to bounce there, but they're saying they were buying it here. They thought it was going to go boom, 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 and come back up and go straight to 7 cents, right? Something like that, and they never sold. So, you're probably going to learn, if you're a person who only looks at, price action, or you don't even look at price action. You're just listening to YouTubers and go buy stuff. It's going to burn you. And I can't stress that enough. And once it burns you, you'll see what I'm saying. Just like pretty much, I have done with great advice given to me. I don't think I've ever taken great advice. Actually, as I get older, I have. I've taken, actually, I do now. Even though I bite my lip the whole time I'm doing it, like, whatever you just told me, I'm doing it, and I'm stubborn son of a bitch. And I'm doing it anyway, but I'm going to bite my lip the whole time, probably curse about it, and I'm going to kick a trash can over as I take your good advice. It's really hard for me to take good advice, but it is for everybody, right? So that's the point. Anyway, BPro Army, if you are on YouTube, you're a BPro Army, I will start covering BPro a heck of a lot more now. My community has spoken, especially on Patreon. We want to talk about BPro, so I'll probably do like two BPro videos a week, maybe 3 if it gets really exciting, something like that. And so if you're a BPro person who's new here, subscribe. Let me know whether you want to be a cryptoian or a crypto crackhead. And leave me a comment, which crypto pronoun that you want to choose. And feel free to check out the Patreon community. It's in the description section. The link is the first thing on there. And we'll see you next time.